Hi, I'm Mac McCarthy, and I help people with their breakups. And today, we got a gem for you. I never loved my husband. I never loved my husband. Which, you know, right off the bat, someone hears that and goes, wow, that's horrible. So I have a real story that was sent in that someone wants my take. And I think it's pretty brave of them to send their story in and get judged in a public video. Because a lot of times when people do stuff like this, they don't want to share it with people. So this individual's being accountable for it. So I'll unpack that story in a little bit. And if you have a breakup story you want to share, please send it in to writemac.com, WRITEMAC.com. And if you want to get my take, it's $25 in a public video like this. There will be the peanut gallery, the live stream. There will be comments about it. But you know what? I will not mention your name. And whatever you want to keep out of that to stay anonymous is fine. Also, if you want to do a live coaching session with myself on FaceTime or Skype, that's also available to fully unpack your breakup. Commercial done. So today it's going to be, I'm not going to get to the story for a little bit because we'll get some more people on deck first. But I never loved my husband. So I wonder if this is one of those things, if someone says that. Do they know that when they are getting married, or do they realize that later on? Because I've had people tell me before, I know now that I never loved my husband, wife, boyfriend, or girlfriend, or they have a bad breakup, and then we'll talk in a live coaching session, and a lot of times we'll get into prior relationships because they affect your current relationship, because that's the model you're running on. So we'll say, like, what was your first relationship like, or what was your prior one to this? And a lot of times your difficulties and your problems are connected to what happened in that prior relationship. So when people are in a bad breakup, they go, well, this is the person this was actually the first time I really loved someone. The first time it was just puppy love. You know, the second time I was with a narcissist. You know, like, so people will elevate what love is through new experiences. But to go into a marriage where you just go, I don't even love this person. I just think that's so strong, because to me, love can be something that's not just, you know, to marry someone or be with someone that you're not in love with is something that resonates more with me, where you're not excited about being with them. You don't click. You don't look forward to seeing them as much. But you love them because they care about you, and, you know, they've put in time in the relationship. You almost love them almost like a family member, as weird as that sounds. But to just say you don't love them overall, that's sharp. What do you think, Danny?
I don't know. I don't have any comment on that.
No comment on that at all. It's pretty cold, though, don't you think that? And this is why I said this is brave for this individual to send their story in, because it starts out with, I settled in marrying my husband, who is a good man, but I was never in love with him.
Damn.
It's harsh, right?
Yeah.
Like that would be, and the question arises, does your husband have a clue that you're not in love with him? Because here's the thing. Correct me if I'm wrong. There's marriages out there where someone's getting something that has nothing to do with love. Usually security and money.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, this happens all over the world. This has been happening since the beginning of time. And I'll tell you the truth. I've seen women that are very rich and wealthy with men that are younger, or they don't work and the woman makes most of the money. So it goes both ways. It's just not as common. But what I would say is it's a sacrifice. But some people know that sacrifice is on deck and they're willing to eat that. What plays in here is if you don't love your partner, you're most likely going to cheat, I think. I think the propensity to cheat because you are neglecting yourself, and I would have to guess, if you marry someone, this is a guess because I've never done this before. I've been in relationships that are monogamous, good relationships, that I loved the girlfriend. Still do, really, from a distance. But to go into something, especially marriage, and go, yeah, I never loved them. Wow. Wouldn't you guess that would have to do a lot with attraction? I'm curious. This is why it's so good, or such a good quick read, temperature read on relationships, to ask people on a scale of 1 to 10, what's your attraction? On a scale of 1 to 10, what's your connection? On a scale of 1 to 10, what's your trust? Because I would bet someone that marries someone and they say he's a good man, but I never loved him. I never had emotional or physical attraction towards him. That's a big sacrifice. Some people are willing to make it. I'm just curious. Does he know deep down? Does he know that? Like when he marries you, that, yeah, she's not physically attractive to me? And could you swallow that? Can you feel, can you feel when that's not there? So, and is an individual wrong? Because if two people are getting what they want, right? Let's say a guy's 65 years old. He's fat, not very good looking. He's stubborn and ornery, bad moods off and on, but he's a billionaire, millionaire. You know, billionaire's 100 million, right? And he gets you anything and everything you want. Are there a lot of women out there that would take that on? What do you think, Danny?
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of them out there that would say, oh, never. But if the opportunity arised, right? But there's also, you know what I mean? That this would be like one of those things you could ask the question and a lot of people would be dishonest unless it was in front of them. The interesting thing, though, is you can fall in love with someone when you're not in love with them in the beginning over time. It just counts on what your definition of love is. That's the whole thing. And here's what I'm gonna get into in the story today. I'm just waiting for a few more people on deck. We all would want to judge someone and go, oh my God, she's a gold digger. Oh my God, she's just with him for the money. But you don't know where that person came from. That's the interesting thing. You don't know if that person, came from poverty you've never seen in your life. That's an interesting dynamic when you judge people like this, right? If someone gets married to someone they don't love out of security and money purposes, you have to think for a moment. Instead of just going, oh my God, that's horrible. Why would someone do that? Is it just because they want a nice car or they want a Louis Vuitton bag? That would be pretty shallow. Or is it the fact that they have a really big family, their family's extremely poor, they've never felt like there's a means to climb out of that bucket, and they got a lot of mouths to feed in their family, outside of kids, right? And I think people are quick to judge, but they've never been in those shoes before. They've never been in those shoes before. Mrs. Trump, I think, would be different. She says Mrs. Trump because she's a supermodel, right? I don't know her background, to be honest. I don't want to get into the Trump thing if we can because it's such a slippery slope these days. But what I'm saying is to and myself included, until I've done the work I've done over the years, everyone, let me just punch this home. You don't know people the way you judge them. You don't know where they came from. You don't know what they've been through. And then you'll go, oh, I can't believe they're doing this. Well, you can't believe they're doing what they're doing because you didn't live their life. That's how they came to that conclusion about making those choices. Okay? And also, a guy that gets married to a woman that doesn't love him or isn't strongly attracted to him, he lacks emotional intelligence because at some point the guy has to know. Don't you think, Dan?
Yeah.
I mean, I think the guy has to...
He has to, like, notice something.
Right? I mean, but to be fair, I was just talking to someone last night at a dinner party, and a friend of mine paid me a really good compliment. He goes, you have really good emotional intelligence. He said, I could see you being very good at coaching people and doing those things. He's known me for a little while. I said, thank you. I appreciate that. But that's one of those things, and that's about like reading people, reading situations, and observing people. Some people aren't good at it. They just aren't. They aren't. And I'll add one more little caveat to that. People believe what they want to believe. A lot of times. Right? Oh, I see it all the time. There's guys that are older with women in their, let's just say late 20s, the guy's in his 50s. And, a lot of times the woman's with that guy out of security, and money. But the guy will not blatantly tell everyone that, even though deep down he's got to know. Yeah, she might be attracted to you. She might like hanging out. But it's probably going to be a shorter relationship. And by the way, they can work. It's just the odds are against you. It's going to be a shorter relationship, and the woman, when things get old, she's going to move on quite quickly because she's still in her prime, and you're, let's put it this way. If you're in your 50s and you're with a 27-year-old, good for you. You must take care of yourself. You must be in good shape, or you must have a lot of money or something like that. Good for you. List goes on. The propensity of the woman to break up with a guy like that is much higher because if she breaks up, she's still in the prime of her life. In your 50s, finding another 27-year-old is not going to be as easy. They don't just grow on trees that are interested in guys that much older. So it happens a lot. All right, I'm going to get into the story. We got 8 on deck. We got 1 like. That's enough to get into the story. Pioneer Caddy, welcome, bud. Just for the money, yes, I see it a lot on social media, and the internet has just blown up this idea of showing off how rich you are. It's pretty pathetic, to be honest. What's the highest form of being rich? Danny, do you know what it is?
No.
Philanthropy. Have you ever heard that word?
No.
Danny's got a pretty good vocabulary. A philanthropist is what? Rob, how would you define that? I mean, if you're going to be even if you're worth over $10 million, which isn't a lot in the world scheme of things these days. If you're worth over $1 billion, you should be introducing yourself not as a businessman, not as a billionaire, as a philanthropist. Go ahead, look it up on your phone real quick, the definition. Can you and we'll share that real quick. Mm-hmm. The definition of a philanthropist. Rob says someone who has cash and offers it. Right? If you're worth that much money, and like I said, in the grand scheme of things, 10 million is not a lot. To me, it's a lot.
Oh, yeah, I know this word, right?
Yeah. So what does it read out to?
A person who seeks to promote the welfare of others, especially by a generous donation of money to good causes.
Doesn't that seem like the ideal thing to do if you were rich?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, go ahead and take that internet down because the data just got stolen here. Mm-hmm. But isn't that? I mean, that's what you should be doing.
Yeah.
Right. That's what you should. That's who you should be. If you're like that, if you're a billionaire or a millionaire, there's no reason that your first thing when someone goes, "Oh, what do?" You say, "I'm a philanthropist." That's what you should be doing. Bottom line. Period. So I'm gonna wait a moment because they're saying we got to stall on the live stream again. Hopefully it's just a moment. I find that most people that use the philanthropist title are often of a higher status. Hell yeah, they are. I'm saying though, if you're worth that much money, that's what you should be striving towards. Not having 50 Mercedes Benz and taking pictures of them. That's ridiculous. There's no valor in that. There's nothing admirable about that. There's nothing that impresses me about that. Do you know what I'm saying? Mac, my ex is trying to find me, and he is with someone. He is mailing letters to my home and emailing. He was very controlling. Why is he doing this? Well, if he's very controlling, he's trying to continue to be controlling, number one. Number two, he's got your attention. Number three, where's your power, Nalini? Mirage, aren't you in the Caribbean, if I remember correctly, or is this someone else? I would throw out the letters and not even read them. He's with someone else. It's curtains. Right? Like, don't even entertain this shit. Someone's with someone else, it's curtains. It's done. It hurts. I'm with you. But it's probably the cleanest clarity you can have. That's spring water right there in front of you. The crystal clearness of what's going on. They're with someone else. I'm going to compete with someone I was with exclusively? Shh. That's not going to second string. That's going to water boy. Trying to find me and he's with someone else. So what? If I had a girlfriend, an ex-girlfriend, right? And she's with someone else, I don't care how we broke up. It's done. If I talk to her, I've had an ex-girlfriend before that was with someone else. It wouldn't be anything romantic. It would be on cordial talk. How have you been? How are things going? I wouldn't ask about the boyfriend or anything like that. How's work? How's everything like that? That's it. If you still have feelings, ill or good, don't talk to them. You're healing right now. It's like you had a broken ankle and the doctor says, don't walk on the broken ankle for 2 months or you're going to make it worse. It's the same thing with your heart. Okay? All right, let me get into this story today, which is a dandy. And if you have a public YouTube story you want to share, go to writemac.com, send it in, and I could unpack it just like I'm about to do right now at this 17-minute mark. You are absolutely right. Thanks, Pioneer Caddy. I like that. I settled in marrying my husband, who is a good man. But I was never in love with him. So does that make you a good woman? Oh, man. Okay. Like I said, I give you points for sharing this and being honest. I never had an emotional or physical attraction towards him. So to me, you know this up front going into the marriage. Does your partner know this? And did you feel good about it from the get-go? There is no way I can fall in love with him since I never felt that way to begin with. Well, that kind of thinking, what I would say, if you're gonna go for marriage, you at least need to feel like eventually maybe it could grow into love, because I think that love is one of those things. Some people it could take a year. Some people, it's just like if you have colleagues at work or teachers at school or family members that are distant. Over time, you could get to like someone that you didn't like at the beginning. That's absolutely true. I've had colleagues before I worked with that I thought, this guy's an asshole. And I ended up being roommates with him and another friend of mine. And it was one of my best roommates I ever had. I totally misjudged it. There's no way I can fall in love with him since I never felt that way to begin with. I don't want to divorce him either because he provides security and companionship. Okay, so are you capable of by security, I'm assuming you mean money. Companionship, I feel like that's a bit of a cop-out. Companionship to me is like you can get a dog or a cat also. I mean, companionship is very neutral. It's non-sexual, intimate. And I would add, is he on board that you're married to him for security and companionship, or is it deeper for him? And is that fair to him? I mean, my question would be, do you feel any guilt about this? During my marriage, I had an affair with a man who was unhappily married as well as many years ago. So you had to put the unhappily married in there to make yourself feel better. Bottom line is you had an affair and he had an affair. Affair means you didn't tell your husband or wife. Partner, he ended it with me and got remarried. And I never got over him. Well, here's the thing. If someone's going to have an affair and you're having an affair, so you're both married, that person's probably not going to marry you because they look at you as a cheat. Right? It's like we're both cheating, but if I marry you, you're more likely to be in an affair. Sounds twisted, but that's probably one of the reasons, even though you guys probably had fun and you were attracted to each other and it was a great outlet, probably one of the reasons he didn't marry you or go deeper was the fact that you were probably telling him, oh, I never loved my husband. So he's thinking, well, if this is how you value marriage, I would never marry you, but we can sleep together. My husband never found out about it. Then he contacted me again about 2 years ago. I started having an emotional affair with him on the phone with our hopes of meeting again one day and basically have an affair again. So you're striving for a second affair. Interesting. But I ended it prematurely since a psychotherapist I see influenced me by getting the message across to me that I'd be better off without him because it would be too risky and that my husband could find out about it. Okay, so here's the thing. What are your morals and values beyond you not getting caught? You are sleeping around while you're married. Okay? Listen, I've talked about this before. Cheating happens all over the world. It's been happening since the beginning of time. I don't just judge you for that, but making it a thing where your therapist says, stop doing this because your husband might find out. How about stop doing it because it's one of those things that you've done it a second time now. Why don't you set this guy free that's a good man to meet someone else? I told my affair partner that I had to end it with him because I was really afraid my husband could find out about him through an incoming unknown phone number that would appear on my phone bill I share with my husband. I feared my husband would question me about it. So everything's about you. I could get caught. This could happen to me. Hope you don't believe in karma. The problem I face now is that I want him back since I'm not sure if I did the right thing ending it with him because part of me thinks there would be a very low chance my husband could find out about it. I would never encourage you to have an ongoing affair on someone that you regard as a good man. You're going to revisit having an affair with someone that had an affair on his wife. Don't be married is my answer. Have some fucking confidence in yourself that you could somehow make your own money and find companionship outside of your husband. I know that's curt. I know that's direct. But this is extremely selfish on your end. Or go to your husband if he has any kind of clue and go, look, I just want to let you know I want to have an open marriage because I'm not all in. And I still appreciate the security and companionship. Is that something you're on board for? Some guys would. They'd go, all right, go ahead. I don't know if he's older than you or what. Some guys would. They might surprise you. But this right here, these layers of deceit and lying, this will eat up your soul. Because even if he doesn't find out, this other guy that you're talking to on the phone that's remarried, so he's cheating again. I'm not really big on the emotional cheating, emotional affair because you're on the phone. But where there's smoke, there's fire. And the fact that you miss this person, how about having some confidence in yourself as an individual and just getting a divorce from your husband and giving him an opportunity as a good man to meet someone that values him? My affair partner and I didn't call each other that much when we were in the emotional affair, and we texted most of the time. So unlike the way I thought at the time when I ended it with him, I'm now constantly trying to wonder if I should call or text again. Could you let me know, Mac, what are the reasons I should not reach out to him again, even if my husband was never to find out about the affair? Number one, have some character, have some dignity. People cheat, people are unhappy in their marriages. You started the marriage this way. So at the core of it, you're with someone you don't really want to be with. That's the problem. That's the root of this all. So you need to address the fact, do you have the guts? Do you have the confidence in yourself to get divorced, allow your husband to meet someone equal or higher value to his goodness, as you call him a good man? Or if you're going to stay with this guy, maybe go with it. It's possible that he goes, you know what, you could see other people. It's very possible. Because it sounds to me like he has no clue that you haven't been in love with him from the get-go. Now, your other option is continue this emotional affair on the phone that sounds impulsive. The reason you're chasing it is it's fun, it's mysterious, it's everything that you don't have in your marriage and you haven't had in your marriage from the beginning. But, I mean, is it ideal? Beyond the deceit and lies, you're not really getting that much out of it. Wouldn't you be better off getting a divorce and going all in on being single and possibly meeting someone that could provide security, companionship, and attraction? Or are you too insecure to go that route? And that's a question. And that would be something that you, instead of basically holding on to a broken marriage that started out kind of broken, life's too short. Do you want to bet on yourself? There's a really good TED Talk. Did I ever show you that one, Danny?
No.
Bet on yourself?
No.
Fucking excellent TED Talk. Who would you bet on? I'll put it in the Discord for anyone that's on the Discord. Who would you bet on? This guy starts out the TED Talk and he goes, who would you bet on? And I'm thinking, he goes, if you had the opportunity, this is a really interesting question. He goes, if you had an opportunity to get 10% of another individual's income for the rest of their life, and it would be like a friend, family member, or a colleague or something like that. We're not talking about, Donald Trump or someone. Let's just be within reason. Someone you know directly, not someone from the news or something like that. And you got 10% of their income for the rest of your life. So you'd be betting on someone that's highly successful in business, correct?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. But the way he shapes it is, he goes, the way you want to bet on someone is, that they are good at, they have a high character, they have a high work ethic, they have this. And then he ends it with, who would you bet on? You should be saying yourself. You should be betting on yourself. And in the world of love, in the world of meeting someone new, you should be able, this is the ultimate thing. When you're not in a good relationship and you're, I'm with them because of this and I'm with them because of that, you have a low self-esteem. If you're with someone you're really unhappy with, a lot of times you don't feel capable of doing better. Or the flip side of that, it's a coward move because, and I'll be frank, I've been there. I've been in an unhappy relationship before where I don't want to break up because I don't want to go through the feelings. I don't want to go through that. It was a while back, but I've been there. Bottom line is, you're married to someone you think is a good man, you've never been physically attracted to, now you're cheating and now you're cheating again. There's nothing right about this. When you cheat in a relationship, if you're married and you live together, most of the time it's going to get found out the longer it goes on. Cheating happens. Continuous cheating where you go, this is just what I do because I'm not in a happy marriage, but I'm just going to stay with this person because they give me security. It's not going to end well. So what I would say to you is, look at the consequences. Obviously, the consequences, if this man finds out, would he even divorce you? Because he's been in a marriage with someone that doesn't love him fully, that doesn't find him attractive, but he's still married to you. So obviously, he doesn't have a lot of intuition about your feelings, or he doesn't care. So here's your options. Tell the truth. Tell him that you've been emotionally cheating and you've cheated in the past and that you want a free hall pass. Number 2, get a divorce and take your chances and bet on yourself being able to find someone equal or higher value that you actually are attracted to. Number 3, ask the guy that you're emotionally cheating with, what's his intentions? Are you guys just going to continue to be affair buddies? Because there will be a roadblock at some point, and there'll be officers checking IZ. Number 4, keep doing what you're doing. Don't make a choice. Keep lying to your husband. Keep exploring a relationship that doesn't really fulfill your needs either. And you could keep doing that. What do you think's the best answer would be my question. Everyone out there that's listening to this story so far, what would you go with, Danny, in all your wisdom at 23 years old?
I would get a divorce and work on myself, I guess.
Yeah.
If I
Yeah, if you and here's the thing about that. If you get a divorce,
yeah.
This is up to the individual. You don't necessarily have to tell the truth.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't want to have to say that you cheated on this person because you don't think it would be relevant anyways, because you don't want to hurt them, you're really going, beyond myself, the best thing I can do for this person, because I'm not all in, is set them free, even though it might hurt them. And you're going to set yourself free at the same time. But right now, this is one of those things where you just don't, you're acting like you're doing this, like you're in this relationship and you're doing this guy almost a favor by being with him. But the reality is you're holding yourself back also. You're holding yourself back also. Right? It happens a lot. And you know what? Like I said, who knows? I don't know where this individual's at in the world. I don't know what their when they say they're with someone with security and companionship, what their options are. But this is what happens when you don't build yourself as an individual to have some independence and some confidence and some abilities that you can lean on as an individual. But there are professional wives out there. That's what they do. They look their best, and that's about it. Or they latch onto a guy that's really insecure, but he has a lot of money. And he's out of shape, and he's out of that. If you're both getting what you want, it's fine. And like I said, in this particular case, maybe your husband goes, you know what, honey, you can go see other guys. I just don't want to know about it. There's relationships like that. And people go, oh, that's ridiculous. It's up to the individuals. But this guilt you got to have, or when this guy finds out and you got to lie again. And like I said, it doesn't even seem like this affair is that good. It's not even a good affair. Because this guy left, had an affair with you, then got remarried to someone else? Okay. And you never even entertained the idea of being together officially, and now you're revisiting it again to be another affair? No bueno. All right, let me get into the live stream a little bit here. See who's on deck. I've been in situations where the ex-girlfriend who is now with a new guy contacts the ex-boyfriend for advice on the new boyfriend. That is incredibly beta. Yeah, I've had a couple situations in the past where an ex will talk about her current boyfriend. I'm like, I don't want to talk about that. I don't know him that well. Som Chai. Put Thai, Gang Mark. Chai Mai. Mr. Som Chai from San Diego. Do you speak Thai? Because he said he grew up in America only. Mr. Dark Knight, always a pleasure. Situation I saw, she is looking for her needs to be matched. Summer McCall, I can't believe people cheat. It's disgusting. Oh, it's human. It happens all the time. Cheating is an entire industry with things like Ashley Madsen. I'm not familiar with Ashley Madsen. I can't believe this story is real. Oh, I'm not surprised. I actually give the person credit for being honest about it, and hopefully unpacking it like this is a step in the right direction. It's brave. Then I get to know those ex-boyfriend before the beta, plus they don't respect themselves, giving advice on a new guy. Unless you have an open relationship with your partner, just break up with whoever you're with and go out with whoever you want. Sounds simple enough, right, Dark Knight? That's one of those things that people don't get. There are relationships where people agree to let someone else see someone else. Cheating is 90% insecurity issue, needs the psychological. I think, really from experience, I can't hold to someone I don't love. It's very selfish from your part. Let them find someone that is the right person for them. Hazel Chavez. Thank you for that. That's a nice comment. Most women that are cheaters are not honest person, and usually they have man that loved and cared for them, sadly. Cheating always has different dynamics, so there's no one size fits all. Sup, y'all? I'm Tyrone, and I'm here to yes, sadly. I don't know what Ashley Madsen thing is. Is that for people that cheat? I'm not familiar with that. Anyhow, moving forward today, though. Moving forward. Has anyone ever seen the Showtime series Affair? Did you ever see that one, Danny?
No.
Really good series.
It's on Netflix.
I think it's on Netflix. The Affair, I think it's called. Okay. And like this guy, the beginning of it, this guy's married and they have like 3 kids. He's actually a professor at a university. Mm-hmm. He seems pretty happily married with his wife, and he meets a waitress while they're on a summer vacation, and she's pretty, and she's in a relationship. She's actually not married, but long-term relationship, and they start an affair, and from there they eventually get married. I mean, but it's just interesting. I think what's lost in a real affair, well, I don't know what's real and what's not real. It's defined by the individual, I suppose. But it's exciting because, you know, when you watch it in a movie or something, first of all, when you're with someone that's your partner 24/7, the reason why people get bored is because you're with each other when you're bored. You know, like you're just watching TV, you're just, you know what I mean? Like it makes sense, right?
Yeah.
And so when you're having an affair, they got to meet in discrete locations. It's always going to be about intimacy. Each person is going to be looking their best, right? So I think it's exciting. And it's what's been lacking in the marriage or the relationship, or it's just pure, unabated attraction to someone else that's very attracted to you, and it's new. And it can't be equaled in the relationship you're in. And so the judgment on that, where I'm going with that, when you meet someone like that and you choose to do that in a moment, and the next day or the next week you go, that was a mistake. Okay. Doing it for a year, 2 years, 3 years undercover, and sometimes validating it, that's when you got to make a decision. Now, I've had clients before that they're in relationships with men that are married. They're single, but the man says, oh, me and my wife have never slept together for 10 years. Who knows if that's true? And the guy's like, I'll never get a divorce because of money and the kids, but our marriage has been dead for 10 years. So the woman's validating the cheating, which I go, you know what? It's up to you. But guess what happens? 9 times out of 10, the wife finds out, even if she is in a dead marriage, she's pissed.
Yeah.
And you know what they do? They go for the kneecaps. They don't go, if the wife finds out, the wife doesn't go, oh, this, she'll go down to your fucking work and announce it to the whole job place. Those are the kinds of things they'll do. They won't just go, hey, I think you've been seeing, they'll go on Facebook or they'll go on Instagram and make an announcement to everyone. It won't be, and you think to yourself, oh, well, you guys haven't had a good marriage. Says who? Him? That wife is pissed. And that shit, it won't be smooth. It will not be smooth. And so those are the consequences of that. I would offer an indecent proposal. Bad karma. That's the best dead marriage. Stuff like that is bad karma. I hope I never meet one of these kind of people. Well, I mean, a lot of people forget the level of deceitful the person being cheated can react to the other partner. Nobody knows how much someone can handle that. It's unsettling how deceiving married women can be. You know what's funny is men and women will go, oh, women are worse, oh, men are worse, or this or that. I bet it's pretty equal. It takes two to tango, right? I mean, if someone's willing to see a married man, they're probably willing to cheat on a husband. So it's just very common. It's just very common. It's way more common than people think. Way more common than people think. But having something where you are in a marriage you're not happy in, and just being with someone that you're not physically attracted to, have never been in love with, because you're with them for security and companionship, that's a separate issue actually than cheating. But that will contribute to you cheating. Does that make sense? Damian Castillo, I had a baby with my current girlfriend and now she's cheating on me and my best friend. With my best friend? Damn, that's tough. That's tough. That's kind of stuff that happens though.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's not uncommon. I've always had in my own life, if a friend has a girlfriend or something, I'm a very friendly person. Some people might call it flirtatious. If a friend has a girlfriend or something like that, I'm friendly, but I just draw the line. I would never hook up with my friend's girlfriend, even after they broke up. That's just my own shit.
Yeah.
That's just my own morals. That's just my own thing. Someone else wants to do that, fine. Oh, they weren't getting along anyways. Oh, she's always liked me. Whatever you want to do. Right? That, to me, there's too many fish in the sea, and it would take an exceptionally strong bond or something like that to go to that level. But it would just, and I'm talking about like a good friend, not an acquaintance or someone you work with. But even then, it's awkward. Damien, if you want to unpack that in a live coaching session, we can do that, bud, because that's something you gotta throw up, man. You got to get everything out on that, because that's gonna hurt you. Nope, Double D wouldn't do it. Just wouldn't do it. The ex also knows it hurts your feelings and doesn't give a damn. Summer, people validate things creatively. That's why do you think I always want people to tell me their story? Their story is their validation of their interpretation. Your interpretation is leading to how you feel about things. So if you're feeling lost or upset, it's all in your story of what happened. Does that make sense? It's so important, because you craft a story about most things in your life. And the story that you craft creates your interpretation. Your interpretation creates your feelings. Your feelings dictate your happiness, your sadness. And so it's just like if I've talked about this before, if me and Danny witness a car accident happen in front of us, Danny would probably have a separate story than I would of what happened. Mm-hmm. He'd also have maybe a slightly different viewpoint on the street. And maybe his eyes aren't as good as mine, but my memory's better. Who knows? Or maybe there's a woman in the accident that Danny's attracted to and I didn't even really notice. And it all skews the story. Who's right, who's wrong? At the end of the day, the accident happened. The story that we describe it to be is just our interpretation. And that'll get stretched based on what we want to believe. Now that's deep. And that's why it's so important when you break up to get clear on that fucking story. And then when you look at the story, if it's not, it's probably one of the reasons you're having trouble moving forward. Doesn't mean that once you read your story with myself or someone else that you're going to be cured. No. But the first step is getting really clear on what happened and why. And then where are you making assumptions? The amount of people that go, I think, well, I think means I don't know. It means I hope I'm right. The amount of people that go, well, I think it could have worked like this. Well, they didn't think it could work like that. Damien, that's sad, but I heard it a lot. I'll tell you one. I'll give you guys one. One of my mom's, I've heard of this before too. One of my mom's best friends, my mom's in her 60s, left one of her best friend's friends. So this is like a third party story, right? But it gets to the point. She did the same thing, and I think they were in their like 50s, and they had been friends with this other couple for years, and they she ended up leaving. The friend ended up leaving for their couple friends. I'll give you one deeper. This is kind of personal, but not personal towards me, I guess. My mother, her father, who's my grandfather, who passed away before I was alive, so I didn't really have a relationship. Therefore, I'm not like, oh, my grandpa, because I just didn't really know him. He was married to my grandmother for I think 20 years, and had my mom and had two other daughters. He regularly cheated, but was well known for it. He was a cop. But he left my grandma after 20 years, and it was really hard on my grandma, my mom said. He left my grandma for another woman that he had been seeing, like a full-on affair. So my grandma ended up getting remarried. My grandma was fine. My grandma was never fucking bitter. She had 3 husbands. She lived till she was early 80s. She had a good life. I never heard her bring it up or was bitter about it. But like at the time, my mom said, it was hard. So this woman that married my grandfather had passed away, but this woman, my mom was not very close to her, but they stayed in contact, right? It wasn't like a stepmom thing, but like they knew each other, right? So this woman, my mom was talking to her. This was like 10 years ago. I'm sorry if this is confusing. My grandpa's been dead for, 30 years or 25 years. So she's had a boyfriend that she's, been with since then and whatnot. And my mom's talking to her, and the lady goes, oh my God, one of my best friends just got left. And her husband had been having an affair for years and just left her. And my mom's like, did she know who she was talking to? Did she know that my mom knows that she had an affair with her dad and her dad left her mom for this woman? And this is 30 years later, she's like, oh my God, what about this story? Oblivious to, didn't you do the same thing? It's funny, huh? I would, my mom didn't say anything, but my mom was kind of like, yeah, that's pretty shocking. This shit happens. It's going to happen more often than ever before in human culture because of the internet. And because this is it. Wait for it, folks. You know why people are going to cheat more than ever before and get more divorces and more breakups? I'm not doom and gloom. I'm actually a pretty positive person. Why do you think it is? We got 20 on deck, 6 likes. This is a nice live stream right now today. If you want to make a donation, I appreciate it. If you don't, that's just fine too. But here's the thing. What do you think the number one reason I believe that in the 21st century, and I'm talking world, I'm not just talking Western culture. I'm talking most of the world is going to have more breakups and divorces than ever before. What do you think it is, Danny, in all your wisdom at 23 years old?
What do you mean by there will be more breakups?
Good question. So what I mean is, like, we're in 2021, we're in the 21st century.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have any data on this. This is just talking off the cuff.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just say the 20th century, the 1900s, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying that people were more apt to stick through a marriage and stay together longer. Okay? And I'm saying moving forward in the world, there's going to be a lot more divorces and there's going to be a lot more breakups than there were in the 20th century. Why do you think so? And anyone in the live stream, tell me what do you think is the number one reason?
I think because like the technology like is moving forward, and now that like meeting new people is like easier than ever before.
Sure.
Like, and that also makes like things like cheating, affairs like way easier to do.
Okay, I didn't think of that before, but you're right. It's easier to be covert about it, you mean?
And
Because everyone has their own phone. Back in the day,
Yeah.
grandma and grandpa only had one phone.
yeah, and now there's so many choices for people.
That I would say that's part of it. That's part of it. Let's see if anyone else has a... Number one cause is women being bored, says Derek D. I saw a video on YouTube. Are you a bore? Are you a bore friend? That's pretty funny. Gee. What do you think would be the number one reason? Not being completed, not satisfied. Majority of divorces today are initiated by women. Says who? Where'd you get that from? I'm not saying you're wrong, but is that just Derek D out of the sky kind of thing, or just join? Why more breakups? The illusion of abundance, deceased attention span. Judy Jack, you're always welcome, hon. Abundance, however, doesn't guarantee compatibility. That's still rare. Why more breakups? The illusion of abundance and deceased attention span. Great word use. Deceased attention span. You know deceased?
Yeah.
Great words. That's poetic. Abundance, however, doesn't guarantee compatibility. That is so true. You think when you're single, you're going to have all these options, but really meeting someone that you're compatible with is special. I don't think there's one of those in the world, but they're not as common as you think.
Yeah.
Right? It's kind of like blood types, you know, like there's only certain blood types. They take certain blood. Like humans are so unique. That's true. People are never satisfied anymore. Can I borrow your book behind you, Sex Counsel? I actually just got that book at a used bookstore. So if you want to see it, it says Susie Godson. It's Q&As for couples. So you could just take a look at that. I don't know. I love my used bookstore here in Phuket because it's cheap too.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Books are like $700-800, like $20. You go there, you get a book for $3, $4, $5. I haven't got into it completely, but it's cool because it's question based, which I like. Socializing, people like breaking the rules. Most people find that attractive. Some chai says that's me. Can I borrow the book? Okay. That doesn't really answer the question. A majority of divorces today are initiated by women. Anything else? Here's what I think. Choices are a big one. People cheat because they can very easily nowadays. Morals and values are things of scarcity and luxury with every new generation. Have you met today's youth? I'm not just talking about cheating. I'm talking about just breaking up. So like you don't need to cheat to break up, right? So I'm just saying the reason I think it's going to be is we are in an extreme mode of upgrading. Hence, we have 12 iPhones. We are constantly upgrading our computer, our TV, how many times do you get, what would you call it, like a software update, right? Like that you have to,
Yeah.
we're upgrading all the time. And so I believe that when you're in a relationship, how you do one thing is how you do everything. It's not 100% true. It's about 80% true. But if someone's the type, and most people are, where they, they're upgrading all the time. You get a new phone every year. Nowadays, people actually lease cars for 2 years. People probably have more clothes than they ever had before. The list goes on, the list goes on, the list goes on. But people are exposed to so much on social media that they go, ooh, that's the relationship I want. I don't have that. And so they somehow feel neglected, and they go, I can upgrade. What Judy Jack said, I agree 1,000%. A lot of times the grass isn't greener, and what people lose is there's a lot of attractive people out there. When you look out in the internet, or you look out if you live in a major city that there's a lot of attractive women or men or what have you, you think, oh, it'll be great when I'm single. But here's the dirty little secret. A lot of them aren't compatible with your personality. And so you hang out with them, and within 6 months, you're annoyed, they're clingy, they fart, they burp, they don't brush their teeth at night. You know what I mean? There's all these things that when you were with your partner, you had sunk in with. And so that's what I believe is one of the biggest things, is people are inclined to want to upgrade more than ever before. Tommy Willis, how you doing, my friend? I hope you're well, bud. The Truth of Love, Mr. Clutch. Go check out his YouTube channel also if you want some other, I don't know if you just hang your hat on breakups, because The Truth of Love would be maybe different. But he has a YouTube channel if you guys want to check that out. Instant gratification is the issue. Our brain is outdated based on our environment. Well, I mean, that goes back to the internet, right? Like, look at how easy it is just to get information. Now, you know what's amazing to me? And I don't know if this is everywhere, but how quickly did we all just start ordering food all the time?
Yeah.
How quick did that happen, Dan? I mean, it's only been like a year and a half, right? Like here in Thailand, people are ordering stuff from 7-Eleven. 7-Eleven people might not know this, but it's like on every corner in Thailand.
Yeah.
Literally, right? I mean, any town or city has 3 or 4 7-Elevens.
Like the main street has 4 or 5.
We have maybe 4 or 5 in my town.
Yeah. Of
maybe 5 to 10,000 people. I don't know how many people live here, but I mean, they're everywhere because they're a convenience store. Yeah. And they're a place that, before you'd just drive down the street. Very convenient. People are ordering stuff from there now. It's amazing. And it's convenient, right? It's convenient. So how quick did that change? Man. And it's not just because of COVID. I think that was coming anyways. But everyone wants an upgrade. Everyone's quicker to find faults and not stick it out. And it's just going to be something that people have to deal with. Relationships aren't going to last as long. And then if you think about the amount of fucking content individuals are taking up about people's lives, Netflix, it's exhausting to look for what you want to watch.
Yeah.
Does anyone else have that?
Yeah, it is.
Dude, I grew up, you probably don't know this, Danny, but we had videotapes, VHS.
Yeah.
Call a movie, like a movie shop or store. Yeah. I don't know what you call it.
Yeah,
Video rentals.
Yeah.
You remember those?
Yeah.
You were probably
I
5 years old.
Yeah.
Right? You'd go into the video shop and you'd look around, you'd grab a video, and that was your option. That's it. You ain't going to go back on it. You're going to watch that whole fucking movie because you paid for it. Netflix now, Shit, man, you could sit there and go, oh, I got 1,000 options here, and then I can watch 10 minutes of it if I don't like it and watch something else. Mm-hmm. It's YouTube, which I'm on. It's just the paradox of choice, right? It's like too many choices, and you just go mad. And I think that what's going to happen a lot of times in relationships is people are exposed to, they watched a movie, and they're like, oh, that's how my relationship should be. Or they listen to a podcast, or one of their friends post, this is a big one. A friend of mine years back was like in shambles because he was going through Facebook and seeing everyone with good like family photos, and I don't have a family. Deal with it. Sorry. This is how people got on in the past. But now it's competitive happiness online, and a lot of people are full of shit. Because I'll tell you what, being a breakup coach and talking to people for a few years now, being a teacher for about 10 years, you don't know people the way you think you know people. You think you have everyone figured out? Everyone's got some shit in the closet. Everyone's got something that happened to them as a kid that they don't like, that was a deep scar. And we might, if we all sat around in a circle and threw in our bad experiences, someone would go, that's not that bad. It was to them. Right? It was to them. But what's going on now is that you have competitive happiness and competitive victimhood, which is even more bad. I have it worse than you. All right, let me get into the live stream a little bit. Number one cause, women being bored. Okay, Derek D backed it up. No, it's backed by various studies. 69% of divorces are initiated by women. 90% by women of higher education level. Well, that's interesting. And this is in America, right? So we're not talking about the world. Interestingly enough, I've had multiple clients recently that their wives or fiancés or girlfriends are therapists or counselors, and they're constantly looking for problems in their boyfriend's behavior because they're like, oh, you're not vulnerable enough. Oh, you don't talk about things enough, because they try to treat fucking gnat. Little banana flies, man. They're constantly going, oh, you're not honest about your feelings or this, that, or the other. And it's like, just have a relationship. Don't put them in the fucking chair. Maybe not sexually satisfied. Now, Hazel, here's the interesting thing. When you answer that question, are you answering it about your life, or are you answering it about people in a whole? Damien Casilla, we've been dating for 6 years before she cheated on me. That's tough, bro. Like I said, I'm here for you if you want to unpack it, because that's one of those things you got to unpack the whole story. This happened to me, except I may have neglected that person. I don't understand, Summer. That's exactly what I'm talking about. This happened to me, except maybe I've neglected the person. It's going to be harder on the generations that grew up with social media as a norm. It's not real, and it's not obtainable. Well, hopefully, my nephew, who's 19, might be 20. No, he's 20. He was just saying he watched The Social Dilemma. Did you see that, Danny? The documentary?
No.
And he said after watching that, he's not going to do social media. They interviewed all these people from different social media outlets and how manipulative they've been with their stuff. Dropping in, hope everyone's good. Tommy. The average women nowadays have a higher education than the average man. Okay. The opportunities to meet new people is endless. The girls are far more willing to hop into multiple relations. Guys get tempted to fool around and hurt their loved ones without a remorse. Well, Elena P., if I'm correct, you're in Miami, right? I have a very good memory. You're in Florida. And that's probably true of that environment. Environments, I can't stress this enough. Everyone thinks that everyone's living in their environment. The environment is what dictates the rules of the game. And it also creates supply and demand. And so, like college towns and different things like that, then there's going to be more. see here. Yes. Gained so much weight. Goodbye, LA body. A lot of them are. That's just laziness, Clutch. Quarantine hit us hard and Chile, slowly catching up, DK. I'm the same. During the lockdown, I exercised more, so nowadays relationships are more of a less than, like, a lot of people are like, oh, I just stayed in my house. This dinner party I was at, this lady was like, oh, we gained so much weight. I just baked cookies and stuff like that. I was thinking to myself, well, that's stupid. It's like you're trapped in the house eating sugar. And she's like, oh, my boyfriend got so fat. And he's like, yeah. Oh. I'm like, no, that didn't happen to me. But we were actually allowed to leave the house, so. Nowadays, relationships are more of a lust than a love. So most of the relationship nowadays are like Bluetooth. Says the woman that asked me for the sex counsel book. If you are close enough, it's connected, and you are far away, it's finding a new device to connect. The lockdown has put me in the best shape ever. Me too, Dark Knight. Takes discipline. Motivation is tough, though. No doubt. Well, what I did is it motivated me. I was already in pretty good shape, but I thought to myself, well, if you want to beat this thing, if this thing's real or whatever you want to interpret it as, the best thing to do is have your immune system on point. So, Pioneer Caddy says Blockbuster. Yeah, that's a thing of the past, isn't it? Laugh out loud. You're acting like VHS is from the last century. It was from the last century, dude. From the 90s. That was the last century. Back in my day, we used to have to collectively agree to a movie as a family. Yeah, it was the last century. I mean, early 2000s, we still had video stores, but they were just starting to go out of business. But yeah, it was a big deal. If you rented a movie, you were going to watch it. I'm saying Netflix now, you could just watch it for 10, 15 minutes, go, I don't even like this thing. Facebook, take it with a grain of salt. Those are fake relationships based on what you can do for them. Everyone has trauma. If anyone says they don't, they have the worst trauma. Well, if anyone says they don't, the truth, I would challenge the idea that there's probably some people out there that had it hunky-dory in life, peaches and cream, had a lot of things go right. I've actually met a few people that you go, God, you seem like they just had great parents. You know, the sister's a doctor. They're successful. They're kind. They're patient. I've met a couple people like this before, and I'm like, God, this guy's bulletproof. You know what I mean? Like, have you ever met someone like that? They're just so, and they're not fake.
No.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
They don't lose their cool.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking of a couple people like that I've met, and they had good parents. The parents made good money. You know what I mean? Yeah. And their siblings are all doing well. Here's the thing. Here's the rub, Mr. Clutch. They have a good chance of ending up with someone that's gone through trauma. And then they go, what the hell's your problem? You know what I mean? Yeah. They go, I don't get it. And then they become a crutch or they become an enabler because they're like, I just want to fix you so you could be more like my life. Mm-hmm. So there are people that didn't have trauma or trauma on a level that they even consider trauma, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But they'll probably work with someone or have a boss or have a mate or a partner or whatever that has it, and then they're spun. They're like, whoa. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? They're like, yeah. Why is this person hysterically crying in the bathroom for 2 hours? What's wrong? All I asked is, where do you want for dinner? And they went nuts. I know people like this, and you're like, yeah, because you haven't dealt with, you know what I mean? Someone will go, oh yeah, you know, my girlfriend drinks too much. I just don't know. Have you ever dealt with an alcoholic before? No. Okay, well, it's going to be interesting for you. The drink comes first. You come third, fourth, or fifth, depending on it. There's going to be a lot of excuse making. You know what I mean? If you've never come across it before, get ready. But the issue about trauma is, do you heal it? Well, first you need to identify the seeds of it. I think that's one of the biggest parts. Mm-hmm. It's not, I think a lot of times it's like, oh, all your issues are much more deeper below the surface of some event that happened to you when you were younger. And I believe if you can It's not just talking about it. I believe in hypnotherapy, emotional freedom technique are two things I like. I like to do alternative things to finding a way to let it go or neutralize it, or logos therapy, which is Viktor Frankl, find a meaning, which is basically reframing the situation into something you can live with. The problem nowadays is that people are not genuine for the most part. Well, I am. Niles Smith II. I wish I saw this live stream literally like 3 months ago. Fuck. Well, thanks, bud. That's a compliment I'll take. They try to change the boyfriend. You don't do that as a therapist. Anyway, you don't try to change partner. Social Dilemma is great. I haven't watched it yet. Best way to go into a relationship these days is to always remain partially detached. Sort of like your insurance in case of things go bad. You can walk without too much self-hurt. I'm not sure if I agree with that. Dark Knight. But I would have to know what you mean by being detached. Can you unpack that a little bit more? Like what an example of being partially detached to someone you're dating new. It's also increased a narcissistic level in our society. All these channels that arise from doing stupid things like playing pranks on each other, just self-centered topics. I agree, Judy Jack. I've been removed from American culture. I'm an American. I'm proud to be an American. As the great Bruce Springsteen said, I was born in the USA, which is a great song. But there's something to culture shift recently where people like to embarrass each other. I'll give you an example like basketball, which I'm a huge basketball fan. Sorry to go into this if you don't like basketball, but the NBA. It's one of the biggest highlights now is when someone falls on the ground and someone dribbles around them. And the guy could miss the shot. He could lose the game. But the idea that he was able to make the other person fall and look stupid is somehow admirable and cool. That's what I'm talking about. Even American football, which I've always been a fan of the NFL. I'm a huge Niners fan. The amount of dancing and celebrating that goes on when it's not even a touchdown. The guy didn't even score, Danny. The guy carried the ball 5 yards, gets up, runs around, like throwing stuff in the air. And just like, Jesus, man. Now, football is a game where you're more pumped. It's a totally different animal than basketball.
Yeah.
But even like in the Terrell Owens days, and Terrell Owens was on the Niners, going out of your way to embarrass people. People have lost a sense of class. And that to me is bad. It's bad. And I'll be honest, like living in Thailand, I can honestly say that the culture here, I'd say I'm a part of it now that I've lived here for a long time and taught here. There's a lot of respect. There's definitely a lot of respect for people that are older than you, which is a good thing. Judy, the Capitol attack showed pure narcissistic behavior. Yes, Coach Mac from Miami. Thank you for remembering me. So you mean the place you live can play a huge role in dating? Absolutely. Absolutely. If you live in Miami compared to in the middle of Oklahoma, which I've had a client that has a 1,500-acre ranch, I think it is, really cool dude. He's going to have, and if he was in Miami, he'd have way more options. Way more options. The Look at Me Society. Damn, I think I still have a VHS of Wham. George Michael. Gotta have faith. Jen, you're a little bit late. It's been a good one, hun. Summer must be nice. Elena, you live in Miami, the capital city of cheap character and materialistic culture. Of course, environment plays a role in your dating life. Well, that was a little judgmental, Sabina. Secure people tend to go after secure. Okay, I'm with you. You got to feel it to heal it. Sabina, where you live? Mostly in Vienna, Austria. Never been there, but I heard it's nice. Had one client from Austria, I told you before. He was a massage guy for the ballet, I think there. You're going to get hurt either way. The only thing not being vulnerable and being detached does is prevent you from connecting. Like I told Dark Knight, I just want an example of what you mean by that. Dark Knight, that's like saying, I don't want to be vulnerable or hurt. That could be a stage you're in too, Dark Knight, based on what's happened recently. The embarrassing thing you're talking about is the epitome of Twitter culture. But I mean, like Danny, you're like I said, you're 23, you're Thai, you've grown up in Thailand. Like, you guys don't go out of your way to embarrass your friends.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like,
do you know what I'm talking about? Because
yeah.
you watch a lot of like American TV and stuff.
Yeah. We don't like embarrass our friends just to like attack them.
Well, I think we do it. I think we do it as a pure like when I was young.
Yeah.
To be frank, I've always been very good with words, and I was very good at making fun of people. Now I don't feel good about that, but it was fun. It was funny, but it when you're like me and my friends, everyone just cuts each other up, and some of the stuff's mean.
Yeah.
And I just don't see that with you guys as much.
Yeah, if it's sensitive, we don't go that.
And you don't try to humiliate people. I think there's this whole thing, like I said, people want to humiliate people, and it's just like, high school. There's fights, right? And now they put these fights on videos, and someone got their ass kicked. You know what I mean, in the fight or something like that, and then you put it on video on Facebook or one of these things, and it's cool. When someone got beat up, now 1,000 people can watch it and humiliate the person. I don't think that's cool. My nephew, when he was in high school, was like, "Oh, check out this fight that was at my school. I'm in the background." I don't think that. I understand fights happen. I get that. I got in fights when I was a kid too. I get that. But then they got to relive the whole thing. The person that got beat up, and they get it made fun of. That's low.
It's on there forever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't you? I mean, Danny's got like a smile, like, yeah. You got. It's mean. It's like, oh, check out the video of so and so that got beat up. Give the kid a break. He already got beat up. Do you know what I mean? That's not funny. It's like someone was saying that back in the day, like if there was a fight and someone was getting beat up bad, someone would step in and be like, "It's enough." Do you know what I mean? Like, that's enough. Like, the biggest kid on the playground, or someone would have some decency. No one would want to see someone's face get smashed in the ground 100 times. I've been around fights like that. Someone will just go, "Hey, that's enough." Someone's like, the guy lost. I don't know if that goes on all the time now. Dark Knight, that's like saying I don't want to be vulnerable. Sabina, you are in a relationship there? Most criticism you'll receive in life is projection. I agree. What you're seeing with this embarrassed culture, I'll call it that, is a need to be socially accepted. Good point. Truth of love. Clutch. Projection. Yeah, I didn't know what projection was till maybe the last 4 or 5 years. When someone would say that, I'd be like, what does that mean? Yeah, what it is, Clutch, is like, don't look at me, but look at how messed up this person is, or how weak this person is. What brought you to Thailand? Well, I've talked about it many times. I was out of a breakup, but that's not the only reason. I came over here to teach, and I wanted to live by the beach for a year, and then 10 years later, I'm shipwrecked. I love it. About Miami, I learned from YouTube Red Pill guys. They explained how poorly people treat each other. His purposely having a level of detachment can be reactionary. Judy Jack, I missed having your opinions. Good to have you back, hon. How's SoCal treating you? Are you going to be one of these people that move away from California? It's all about looks, money, and what you can do for me. Says who? People humiliate their kids for social media likes now. That's incredible. LOL. People humiliate their kids that's incredible. This is what I meant by people. I meant by people are empty and bored. If you need to watch someone beat up as entertainment than your pathetic excuse for it. Seriously, Dark Knight, right? I mean, like I said, fights happen, especially in grade school and things like that. But like, then you're going to have the kid relive it. I mean, it's just... Yes, it's really meant. I don't agree on people bullying other people. That's disrespectful. I don't care what anyone thinks of me, to be honest. You get what you get. You don't get upset. If you're smart, you're the golden prize. Right on, Dark Knight. Went to Thailand post breakup. Say no more. Is that right, Mr. Clutch? Right. You went there, or you're saying I went there? I didn't go right after. I went like a year after my breakup, but I didn't go because of the breakup. I went to explore teaching, to be honest. Best massages in the world are in Thailand. They're pretty good. They're pretty good. I'm originally from Sarajevo. Okay. No, I have a home here. So staying forever, Cali is hard to buy back into if you leave. Absolutely. Absolutely. Especially where you live. You live in, it's not Santa Barbara, it's Goleta, right? I've never been to Croatia, but I've heard really good things. SoCal's nice. I love San Diego. I mean, I loved being there. Great place to live. I will say this, I do like Thailand better. Goleta, that's a good memory, right? I think isn't that where a lot of the college kids live, if I'm correct? I did some time on Abrego Street in the apartments with the yellow doors. They got some funny apartments over there, if they still have them. It's probably one of the most expensive college towns to live. That's not Croatia. We had a war not to be a part of Croatia or Serbia. Okay. You'd know. You'd know. Ala Vista, that's what it is. You're right, hun. I'm sorry. It's been about 20 years since I've been there. But it was good fun. I have a Discord if you want to join, Elena. I think that's what she's talking about, if I'm correct. So let me give it to you guys right now. Let me know if you guys have a topic you want me to talk about tomorrow. There you go. You can use that link, Elena, if you want to join the Discord. Matt, can you please write a Discord link? Yep, got it. She's got a point. Lived in LA. If you ever want to see a funny dynamic post-COVID, go to LA party and ask about superficial people and watch all the superficial criticize themselves. Criticize themselves for being superficial? Did you say you lived in Santa Monica before, Clutch? I think you said that. So I don't know where I got that from. I didn't live in LA, but San Diego was quite nice for almost 4 years, 3.5+ years. I thought I was going to live there forever. It's one of those places I was like, oh, I'll never leave. Then I moved back to San Francisco, and I missed San Diego for a little while. Okay, I think that's the one that Instagram is Coach Mac McCarthy. So yeah, right now we got 21 on deck, 9 likes. Thanks if you want to donate. If you don't want to donate, it's fine. But the dollar sign's down there. I don't get it. What's the actual Discord link? Isn't that it? I've actually had a couple clients from there. Santa Monica. I haven't been there, but it seems like a beautiful place. San Diego's very nice. San Diego's beautiful, man. Did you know, remember the old show, Judy Jack, this shows how old I am, Three's Company? I think Three's Company was based in San Diego. With Jack. That's from the email Discord link. Do I have to give a different link? Have I been giving the wrong link the whole time? Suzanne Summers. I thought you'd get that one, huh? What made me think of that recently? So, dude, no way you're that old. How old do you think I am? How old do you think I am, Clutch? I used to watch fucking Three's Company when I was a little kid. Summer, thanks for the $4.99. You're a gem. I appreciate it. Just by buying me a cup of coffee, I appreciate it, hon. How old are you, Clutch, if I may ask? I got my birthday coming up too, Danny. It's going to be a big one, I think, this year. I was fighting it. I was like, I'm not going to have anything big, but you know what I said? You know what I'm thinking about? I'm like, no, it's a big one. It's a big one.
Is it in March?
No, my birthday's February 1st.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we got a countdown coming here. I'm not a pickup artist, dude. I'm not a pickup artist, man. Is that an opening line? So you're 35, Clutch? Or you're saying I'm 35? Is that an opening line? No, you're not pulling Pua. A lot of people know how old I am. Hazel, you know. Anyone else want to guess how old? Where's the link for the Discord? Why am I getting this wrong? So she said that's the email link. I don't have the Discord on this computer, actually. Oh, you're 35. Clutch, you're a young man. You're a young man.
I think I can post a link for you.
Yeah, post a link for me, Dan.
Give me a sec.
Never was a Pua. I thought that link worked, so whatever. Let's see, Daniel post one.
Here. Okay, I posted it.
See how long it takes to post something, huh? We'll see how long I'm 35. 35 is a good age. It's not showing it might not show on my side. Probably anti-spam. Oh, okay. Danny just tried to send it, so we'll see. If not, Elena, if you really want it, I'll give you my direct email. But I think it should come up in a minute from Danny just sent it. I thought that link worked. Yeah, I gotta put it in I think I put it in the description of my videos. When I do live streams, it just gets automatically uploaded. Yeah, I got you, Clutch. Thanks, bud. Put spaces between the server address.
Okay, I'll try.
35. It was just a whisper when I was 35. Just a whisper. Oh.
Did it show up?
No, it didn't show up. So it must not come through if you send it in, huh? Well, I'll put it in the I'll put it in this description. I'll put it in the description, Elena P. When the live stream's over, just like Clutch said. I'll have Danny help me with that.
Mm-hmm.
Mac, you owe me for the free tech support. Okay, Clutch, I appreciate it. I'll tell you what. I'll remember. I have a very good memory. When life's right, it's reciprocal, right? Goes around, comes around. Then you need to download Discord app and register the nickname. Yeah, it just comes up Coach Mac McCarthy too. Register a nickname. She's right, yeah. Discord's nice though. It's something new to me, but I like the way it's formatted. And I like that I can share some videos and interviews with you guys. I really like the way it's set up. It's cool. It's nice. Quid quo pro, as they say. Yeah, we gotta have a conversation about the coaching world. It's okay, Elena. Any topics, folks, we want me to touch on it tomorrow as we wrap up today, which was an hour and a half? Good. Danny soldiered through it. My Discord is 400 people. It's a good medium. 400, good for you, man. That's a lot of people. That's more than Dunbar's Law of 150. That's a lot of people to manage. You must be busy with them. Have you ever heard of Dunbar's Law 150? Have you ever heard of that, Danny?
No.
They say that, or Dunbar's Law says that you can only associate with 150 other human beings. And there's a lot of companies or businesses that use this model that you could only interact with 150 human beings and actually know each other. Once you get past 150, you're not able to interact with the group on a level.
Huh.
Oh, I have a good team of mods. I used it since 2020. I was very 2028 or 28. I was like, wow, you're in the future? I used it since 2028. I'm like, oh, so you just came back for a visit, huh? Yeah, I got to pick your brain about that a little bit, Clutch. The truth of love. No problem, Elena. You're welcome. The truth. What's the Clutch? What, if I may ask you, what's your definition of love? Is that a deep question? I've heard about the law. I've heard it's as low as 80, not 150. It's 150. I'm pretty confident that that's Dunbar's law is 150. But if there's an 81, there's the 80-20 principle. But Mac, I build Discord servers. I can help you with that if you like. Okay, now we got doubled down. All right. Something's happening in the universe because last night at this dinner party I was at, this guy has he had a small media company in the Bay Area and was talking to me about some things yesterday that he might work with me on. So, and because things are going to change for 2021 on the channel, I got 1,000 videos up and I get my definition of love or truth. Well, give them to me both if you can, if it doesn't take you too long. Where I work, we build blockchain infrastructure if you need any of that. Shit, man. Isn't that what Bitcoin is, Rob? By the way, both of you, I appreciate offering the help. I really do. because like the guy I was talking to last night at the dinner party, he was like, you got to be on the algorithm, you got to do this, and his company had 20 billion views that he worked with, or he was a CEO. I was like, all right, we got to talk about this. So I'm very specific. Okay, maybe it's Discord seems like the same as Clubhouse. It's just a nice format, the way you could put YouTube videos and stuff up. That's what I like, and reply to each other. It's an ongoing stream of people talking. I guess, Danny, wasn't it originally like a lot of gamers used it, right?
Yeah.
Because would you call yourself a gamer?
No.
Why? Why not? You play games a lot, right? And meet friends and play games.
Mm-hmm.
But you wouldn't call yourself a gamer?
Yeah.
Okay. It's a choice, right?
Yeah.
You're like, I'm not one of those guys.
Mm-hmm.
Don't call me that, Mac. Don't put me in that box. I play games, but I'm not a gamer. Exchange of energy at high functioning psychological level. Well, that's an interesting one. Exchange of energy at high functioning psychological level. Truth. Subjective based on your interpretation of reality. I like what you said about the truth. That's deep. That's deep. Dark Knight says, I'm a huge gamer. LOL. Yeah, Bitcoin uses blockchain, but it has many other uses. All right. I'll keep that in mind. All right, folks, I'm getting parched. It's been an hour and 36 minutes. It's 13:33 or 1:33 right now. I'll be back on deck tomorrow. This was good. It was fun. It was dandy. It was great. We had 10 likes. Unpacked a story. I'm a gamer. Has an ex criticized me once for it. I told her, yeah, God forbid I don't have a drug problem. I built our company's Discord server for the upcoming game. It's not public yet, but it's a killer one. Sweet. By the way, when I say someone's a gamer, I've never been one myself, but I don't look at it like you're low or anything like that. You know what I mean? A lot of people meet a lot of friends through it. I've had clients that's where they met their boyfriend or girlfriend, long distance through gaming. So it's just never been my thing. But who am I? There's no judgment there. Yeah, but God forbid I have a drug problem. I have had clients that were women that were like, he just plays games all the time. He just wants me to leave him alone, and he doesn't show me attention when he's playing his games. Thanks, Hazel. I appreciate it. Stay you. Clutch will be in contact. I hope. Dark Knight, thanks for the offer. I will be in contact. Rob, thanks for the offer. I do appreciate it. And I just appreciate that you always show up on the live streams and contribute. Dark Knight's a regular also. Pioneer Caddy, hang in there. I know you're deep in it right now. Lena P, Miami's finest. Keep being you, I suppose. Summer, thank you for the $4.99. That was kind of you. Sabina, you're always welcome on the live stream. Judy Jack, thanks for coming back. You were missed. Was looking for you in the daylight with a flashlight. And who else did I miss here? Do we have anyone else? Yeah, that was pretty much. I think I got them all. And Mr. Clutch, thanks for contributing, bud. I wish you all the best with your channel also and what you're doing. See ya.